What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. And here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan I know that's feeling better as a Warriors fan today. What's good, Spreader? How are you today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Beautiful morning, man. I'm on a hike this afternoon, and it was so beautiful all morning. I said, why don't I just get up early? But what can you do? I was up a little late last night, reading all the slander and all the overreactions. Um,
Yeah.
Great win for the Warriors, but it's not over. I mean, this
Nah.
team won Game 6 and 7 against Milwaukee. Um, you know, uh, I'll be honest. I got a kick out of the Celtics fans. I mean, they're acting like this thing's over. It's not. It's not. So, anyways, we'll get straight into yesterday's news. What were your thoughts on the game?
Nah, I'm just I'm over. You know what I text you last night and several expletives. I'm over Jason Tatum. I'm over him. I'm over them pumping him up. I'm over all of the marketing that he's getting, all of this love he's getting that he really um, at this point isn't garnished, man, at all. He shouldn't be getting all the love he's getting. He's last night we had the over 27 and a half. I made a humongous bet on that one. And dude misses like 6 free throws in the second half. Like, come on, man. These are charity stripes. That's why they're called free. Like, you have to take advantage of that. All the great scorers always took advantage of that. Whether it was Kobe, Michael Jordan, James Harden, they made a high percentage of their free throws. This guy can't even make free throws when it counts. We had the 27 and a half. It was so crazy when I was making the bet on board. It was minus 26, and it was up 26 and a half minus 122 at first. They changed it because they know I'm sharp. So as soon as I'm making the bet, they try to offer me at the price that I want to put down on another price, 27 and a half even money. I should have just took it. But I was thinking, no, he should go for 30 because this is one of those games that's about his brand. And I'm thinking, okay, he'll show up, he'll get 30. He hasn't had 30 all series. So just real disappointed. I didn't really care about the side too much. As you know, I'm still holding a ticket for the Celtics. I missed my chance to hedge it when they won in Golden State. Well, excuse me, when they went up 2-1. It just wasn't enough margin in order for me to be able to hedge it at that point. So I just let the ticket ride out. I still have a ticket on that one, 10% or on plus 130. I don't think I'm gonna get a chance to hedge it the way it's looking now. So I'm just let it ride out. But my main thing last night that I bet, I didn't really deal with the side on the thing I was heavy on was Tatum going over, and it really, really, really was disappointing seeing the performance that he put on in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been on. I don't know. He's always been disappointing to me.
Yeah,
I think that he got a little bit too soon. I don't
yeah,
want to get down on him too hard. I mean, look at Andrew Wiggins finally finding himself now at age 27,
yeah,
right? Look at Andrew Wiggins at 24.
yeah,
Now he's getting all this praise, and rightfully so. He had a great game last night, and he covered up what was really a poor game from Steph Curry behind the arc. In every
yeah,
other aspect, I thought he was really good. So let's talk about a couple things we talked about yesterday. Number one, he did lie in the press conference, Udoka, because they did double Steph. They did
yeah,
change the way they approached him, and it threw
yeah,
him off.
yeah,
Yep. And so that was the first thing. Number two, I was correct in the fact that they weren't going to just let Tatum working against Wiggins the whole time.
yeah,
And I personally thought it worked to their detriment because they spent all this time rather than playing team basketball, which is something that I've been down on the Celtics because I don't like this ISO. This ain't 1998 with the legal defense rules. Um, so they'd work to get Curry switched onto Tatum. And first of all, I thought the Warriors acquiesced that switch a little bit too easily, but it worked. So they probably won't change it. But then you just get these poor shots. I mean, like I mean that's what you want. I mean, maybe that's what they wanted. I mean, obviously he can shoot over him, right? But
That's it though. Like that's it. That's it. That's all he can do is just raise up and take a difficult shot. And it's like Steph is 6'3". It's not like he's short. So he
yeah,
still can affect his shot. He's giving him a hand in his face, you know. So I just, as you were saying, I don't mean to cut you off. It's just that makes me so mad. He's not taking advantage of those switches. You're getting Curry. They putting Curry on the island with him because they figured out Curry in film study, like, man, this dude can't do anything on us if we do isolate him one-on-one. It's not like he's a dynamic.
Well, I think that was a mistake. I think that here's how I think Curry's defense. I think he's underrated by the national media, and I think he's overrated here in the Bay Area. Because in the Bay Area, they'll tell you that he's a great defender and da-da-da-da. I think he's better than people give him credit for. First of all, his lateral quickness is really good. That's why Tatum wasn't able to get around him.
Yeah.
And you know, he's 6'3", but he can't fix that. So right. Of course, that's a liability. But I think he does an excellent job working. And you know what, the other thing, and Van Gundy talked about it on the broadcast, they're just taking away his right hand. They're forcing Tatum to go left, and it's exposing a flaw in his game that he's so used to going right. And Curry's fast enough to say, hey, you're not going to go right when he's going left, and that's why he's not shooting well.
What kind of development is going on with Tatum and Brown? I mean, these guys look the same exact way as they looked when they first hit the league in the playoffs together. Don't get me wrong, they can score, but they had that ability as soon as they hit the league. Their games, to me, don't look any different. Maybe Jaylen Brown made his three-point shot just a little bit better, but neither one of those guys look like they're doing much in the offseason because neither has a tight handle. You know, and they're really getting exposed with that because of the Warriors and those quick hands. And
well, I think it's hard to have a tight handle at 6'10" for Tatum.
No,
I mean, there's not a lot of 6'10"
you don't have to have a tight one, but you got to have a serviceable one. You got to have something that you can do with the ball when it's in your hands. You know what I mean? That he's a wing.
I just think forward. I know, but there's a reason why for our whole lives, people that were 6'10" weren't wings. You understand my point, though, right? I mean, it's a high dribble. That's why you give KD so much credit, because it's not supposed to be like that.
Yeah, Magic.
It's not supposed to be like that.
Luka's about 6'7". Luka's about 6'7", 6'8".
He's so much better at using his body.
Paul Pierce was about 6'8". He had enough tight dribble when it mattered, and you know, where you couldn't take the ball from him when the double came. Like, this is just basic stuff. I feel like with their type of athleticism that both of these guys should have developed.
I think especially for Tatum, though, you hit it on the head. I mean, they crowned him so early.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he doesn't get off the ball fast and get it back. Instead, he holds the ball and tries to get an assist by kicking it to a three-point shooter. And I'm like, dude, you got Curry on you. You should be able to force a foul. You should be taking advantage of this to get him in foul. Force a play, make him foul you. If he doesn't foul you, you should be able to get a layup to the goal and go over the top of him. And instead, he's getting Curry doing a little, semi-dribble and then kicking it to Marcus Smart. Like, Marcus Smart from 30 feet isn't a better shot than you on Steph Curry. So I'm like I said, I'm finished betting props on him. I'm not betting props on him anymore, period.
Well, wait till next year. He'll be fine in the regular season.
Yeah, regular season. I'm talking about
even in the playoffs, he's been really good. I think we should give credit for Steve Kerr for designing an excellent system. They have him going left. It's not his strength, and he's obviously confused. And it's not like Curry shutting him down one-on-one. He's taking away one aspect, and then he's forcing him to his teammates, and his teammates know what to do. And there's not a lot of weaknesses there. And I know we like to get on Draymond earlier, but you look at the defensive side of the ball, he's the best defensive player on the court. Like, I know Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year, but to me, Draymond's the best defender on the court. So
he's intelligent. His intelligence makes up for his lack of athleticism
and height too. Smart 6'3", Draymond 6'8".
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier, and I'm not going to discredit a guy at 6'3" for not being able to get a proper shot contest on a guy that's 6'10". Right, that's coaching. But you said I'm saying it's not gonna. They're not doing anything wrong, But
I don't like that Tatum is 6'10", and the only way he can have a big game is making over 5 threes. You know that, right? Like, that's the only way he can have a big game.
Those threes were looking pretty wet there in the third quarter.
He's a great shooter. I'm just saying, you got to have more to your game when you're that tall. It's like KD has a lot more to his game. Giannis can't shoot the three, but he can do everything else, which are much more efficient shots than.
And you know what Giannis realized that was the key to the championship last year? I need some post moves. I need to work in the paint, because some days your shot just isn't there. And I thought that's where Steph was excellent. I think he was still good in the mid range. He still drew the defense. As much as everybody wants to crown Wiggins, a lot of that had to do with the fact that Steph was getting so much attention that Wiggins had a wide open lane. And credit to him for taking advantage of it. Credit to him for finishing him. Does he have a wide open lane if they're playing him straight up and Steph's not getting that double? I don't know. So I thought this, other than the 3-point shooting, which is so widely variant, you know, and smart teams know when to get away with it. And I felt that Steph did a good job of that in the fourth quarter when he realized it wasn't falling. Did you see him hesitate on a couple that he would have normally let fly? And then when the game was in hand, he wanted to preserve that record. So you could see him gunning a couple, right? Because that's his first time in 253 games. He hasn't had a three. First time in his whole playoff history, he hasn't had a three. He wanted one to fall. He didn't get it. It's interesting going into game 6 now because, you know, you look at it two ways. Obviously, Boston has a lot to improve too, but Golden State's got to feel pretty good that Steph went 0 from 9 from 3 and they won by 10 points.
Exactly.
I mean, they got.
He's not doing that again. He might go 6 for 8 next game.
And I wonder, looking at those Boston fans' Twitter last night and how many of them just gave up, what that arena will be like if the Warriors stomp out to like a 10-point halftime lead. I wonder if the fans.
If the pressure gets on the Celtics, he's in 6 new prediction when he redid
Can you
the
believe
5.
that? He's going to be victory lapping. I mean, the guy's already skinny. He doesn't need to lose any weight, but I mean, he's going to be victory lapping like a marathoner. I mean, it's going to look like track practice, right? I mean, and he'll deserve it too, of course, because when they went down 2-1, I saw a lot of people coming after him on Twitter. Yeah. And I was pretty discouraged, and he didn't back down. So I'll give him credit for sticking to his guns.
Yeah, you know, that's my boy. We talk all the time, just off, you know, camera. Just that's my dog. So, you know, I've been telling him like he did a great job with that, man. Great job. And
it's not over yet, though. It's not over yet. I mean, I half would expect. What's the picture you threw up? Who's the referee in the Celtics jersey? You don't think he's getting game 6? You don't think he's getting game 6? I mean,
if they call in my guy, then, you know, if we get number 48 at shooting guard for the Celtics, then we're good.
I think they will. I think it's going to be 6-on-5 in that game. So
yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know, but I'll get into my pick yesterday. Besides, I lost on the Tatum thing. We were able to pull out the parlay with Berrettini and HURCAKZ. Berrettini looked great. He looked good, man, just like I thought he would. He had a little, you know, they had to fight it out in the first set. Second set, it's the same thing. After he overcomes you in that first set with his serve, he breaks people's wheel because they don't want to deal with that 120-mile serve on that grass. You know, they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it, man. So Berrettini came through. HURCAKZ struggled a little bit with Cressy. Cressy stole the second set and pushed it to 3, but we were able to still cash that. Great won a lot of upsets, man. Me and my clients did really well with Pennington against Rude. You know, Rude is horrible on grass. Rude, Sissy Pass.
I think Sissy Pass will be okay on grass.
They're going to be fades Wimbledon for me first round. I don't care who they get, as long as they get usually, you know how dirty the tournament is with setting up these seasons. They always get them like ITF grass specialist on when they hit their first round. So if they end up getting one of those local kids from the England, from the country of England, man, they might be in trouble because those guys know how to play on grass. I had never seen Pennington before. I just was doing his numbers, going through his charts. I'm like, hey, this guy can beat Rude. He's won a couple ITFs on grass. Some dominating performances.
That really heavy topspin doesn't play. But I think Steph can get away from it because he can serve bot a little bit more.
Yeah, he can. Now, that's one thing I can say about him. He's been dialing up that serve. Like we said before earlier this year on the show, it's no reason Sissy Pass shouldn't be good on grass. Like, it's no reason. He's good around the net, all of that. So I think it's more of a mental thing for him. But some of these guys like Rude is actually just, he can't deal with, it's too fast. He can't get his shots the way he wants to and set up his forehand the way he wants to. It's just too quick a pace. As we talked about with Noops, it's a doubles play. You got to have quick hands to play on grass, man, and have a lot of quick reactions. And those kids from that London area, man, they all comply. I also had Bolter this morning. She upset Risk, which really wasn't a big upset, but by the book standards, it was plus 230. Now she's 2-0 against her in lifetime head-to-heads. But she's another one, and they get on that grass, man. They can roll because they really understand how to serve and volley in that country, you know. So the grass season is here. And what about Sabalenka, man? She made me so mad today. Did you see that?
I expect it from her.
But why does she do this? You're dominating. You're serving for the match. Now I'm starting to put you in a class with Benoit Paire and people, Manarino and people like
I
that.
think
Like,
losing that
what's
coach,
going on?
Tursunov, really hurt her.
What's
I
that?
think Tursunov was big for her. I think
Yeah,
that the mental aspect of the game is by far what she struggles with the most.
she's struggling.
I think
This
that she'll pick
also
up
she
any
fired
type
him.
of physical. You want to switch her backhand, that's fine. You want her to switch her toss, that's easy for her. You want her to switch her tactics,
Yeah,
that's fine. You want her to stop getting down on herself during the middle of the match, stop doubting herself in between matches.
just trying to hit it as
That's
hard
the
as
hard part.
possible because she's angry. Like, you know this isn't going in, girl. What are you doing? Hitting about like 200 miles an hour.
I mean, from a former
Yeah.
player, I don't want to be on the court anymore. When I used to play and you do that, and at a certain point you check out, and sometimes it can be not because of what's going on in the match.
Right.
I could be pissed off because a girl dissed me the night before,
Yeah, that's
or
what
my
I
best
felt like.
buddy,
On
me and
some
him got
other
into a
stuff.
fight on the
Yeah.
basketball court,
Yeah.
and I'm pissed, or something happened that I didn't like, and then I get out there and things don't start going wrong, and I say, well, this match is gonna be over real quick because I'm either gonna hit a winner or I'm gonna hit it out.
That's
So
what she does.
I'm
And
not
that's
out
what she
here. I'm not
does.
out here doing no 20 shot
That's
rallies,
what
right?
she does.
And I know she kind of has a turbulent life. I think that she was very sheltered when she grew up. I think that going to adulthood has been quite the transition for her. And we also have to remember, it's easy for us to sit here. We got to make mistakes in silence. They make all these mistakes on this big stage, right?
Yeah.
Especially with their relationships, and so
And
I
she's
I
a
do
hot
think,
girl, man. She's a hot girl. I saw her. She liked to post a lot of bikini pics on her Instagram. So that
yeah,
let you know she's trying to get somebody looking. You know what I mean? When they're doing that,
yeah,
you already know. So I could tell that she's definitely a little, she's doing what she does that you're supposed to do at a young 20 age, millionaire woman. She's
yeah.
having fun. But as you said, I think it's coming over into the court because she's playing real frustrated. And it's frustrating for people like myself who really love wagering her. And now I'm at the point where I'm about to almost put her in the same class that I had to do with Verver, where I can't bet you no more, even though you're one of my favorites. I just can't bet you because when it really matters, you can win all these 500s and all these masters, but you can't do anything in the majors. And she's the same way. Like her and Verver are peas in the pod. They got all this talent. They've been great since they were teenagers, and they cannot get a major. And both of them have the talent level and everything that they need to have already won at least a couple, So it's just frustrating. She had Kudermetova serving for the match, had it up a set, up 2 breaks, and still end up losing the match. Like that doesn't make any sense, man. Come on, man. Come on. You got to do better than that, Savs. We're here rooting for you. All right, let's get to the ball and parlay today. We didn't see much, so we're gonna stick with Old Faithful and go with the Astros, right?
Yeah, I was to say that I don't have anything for today. There's like 3 tennis lines out right now, and I don't do
Yeah.
baseball. So why don't you go ahead and break down why your Houston Astros are going to get it done
My
tonight?
Houston Astros. For one, we won yesterday, me and the Supreme Clientele, but I was smart. I already knew what was about to happen. I took them first 5 while we had Javier still pitching. As soon as we got to our bullpen, I already knew, and it's always the same culprit, Neris. We need to go get some help. We need some arms, some middle relief bad in Houston. So
To be fair,
they
most teams need that.
yeah, they smoked it.
It's like a wing, right? Every single team. We just need an athletic wing. Yeah,
And,
every
and
team needs more athletic wing.
it's the same basically 3 to 4 teams who always have these arms. And they're not going to help the Astros. Maybe they can get some help from the Padres. The Padres usually have a lot of arms, but for sure the Rays can just go to they recruit pitchers so good, dude. They can just call anybody up from class from the
They're like the
minors.
Steelers with wide receivers, right? Like
Exactly,
if they
bro.
draft
Like
them, they're good.
They don't miss on that. So
Yeah.
they're the only team that I could see them going to actually get some help from, but they're not going to help us. So we can forget that. So hopefully we can find a big name who's maybe in a contract year. But the Rangers, they've won 4 straight games. All of them have been on their last bet. So it's time for all of that to run out. They were able to beat the Astros on a great comeback last night, but now they got a bad night coming for them with Dunning coming up. He's almost a 6 ERA against the Astros. He's never beaten us anytime he's faced us. Whereas in Eucridity, which is pitching for us tonight, he's having a decent year. He's an up and down pitcher, but he has a pattern. It's kind of like how the Celtics are. He wins one, loses one. Looks great, looks horrible. He looked horrible last time. So it's time for him to look great again. He's never lost to the Rangers in his career. He's has 4 wins and a 1.6 ERA against them in all his appearances. He already beat them this year earlier in the season on May 22nd and only gave up 1 run. The Astros are a very proud team. They're probably steaming that they blew that game last night. They know that probably their biggest competition in the AL West this year is going to be the Rangers. Seattle plays is the toughest, but for some reason Seattle can't beat other teams. The Angels, they're on a free fall. It's about time for Mike Trout to move around. He's been overpaid, overhyped for years, stealing money. And I think the walls are closing in. You done got Joe Madden fired. Like, everybody knows Joe Madden can coach. You know what I mean? Like, no one doesn't think Joe Madden knows how to coach baseball. So I think that they're going to do a major rebuild in the offseason. And the Angels, they're probably going to strip everything except for Ohtani. So they're not going to be an issue. They'll probably start trading stuff off as the year keeps going. And I expect Trout to end up. He said he's a Phillies fan growing up. He's from the New Jersey area, South New Jersey, all Philadelphia fans. He's trying to get to Philly. I heard that years ago that he said he wanted to play for the Phillies before he retired. So if they get him over there with what they already got, the Phillies will be a problem. So look for Trout to be moving pretty soon. But as I was saying, the Astros don't have any competition really in the AL West. But the Rangers have been playing really well. They're pushing us in the division, and I think that the Astros will step up tonight and really give them a pound. And you rarely catch the Astros at such a sweet number. The value's there all day at -120. I suggest that you take the first 5 so that you can get our starting pitcher and you take the game just in case the middle relief and the closers decide not to finish again. And as I told you, the Rangers have been pulling late inning heroics all this season so far. So we're going to go with the Astros today. Anything else for the people spread before we get out of here?
No, not much. Things are winding down here. So,
yeah,
lines are slow to get up here in England.
Yeah.
I kind of like the Eastern European tournaments more, even though I miss more of it because it starts earlier. I can start working on it earlier. I mean, they're really slow to get these up. I think they're taking a beating too. If you notice, a lot of these line moves have been correct. I think that's why they're slower to go to market. Like sometimes, sometimes the market isn't efficient. Someone moves from 120 to 150 and the dog still wins. Now it feels like if someone's moving from -120 to -150, the market's right and they're not pricing this. And to be fair, it's tough. It's been tough for me as a handicapper. You go from this slow dirt that's just ground strokes to where all that matters is serve. And then a lot of variety. Like I'm watching, I keep looking over. I got Wawrinka and Tiafo on the side.
I almost took Stan. Is he still winning? I had it in, and I said, nah.
Tiafo's up a break in the third, but I mean, the first 2 sets have gone to tie breaks, and it just feels like wildly variant. It doesn't necessarily feel like if you took either one, I think it's really hard to say I made the right pick, right? Because it really feels like gambling, like playing blackjack or roulette or craps,
flipping a coin,
really random, because of the way it turns out. So that could be another thing too. But we'll finish this week strong, and we'll root for the Houston Astros tonight.
Man, let's go Astros tonight, guys. We're winding down. If the Celtics were to win tomorrow, what is Game 7? Sunday night. So we'll know in time. If so, we'll do if we get to Game 7, we'll do a
preview on Friday.
And then we'll do a Monday wrap up and say goodbye to everybody. Just wrap it up from on Monday if they have a Game 7. That's a big if right now because the Celtics, if that pressure gets on them, they might celebrate. You might have Steph taking a dump again on somebody else's
I mean,
court.
talking variants, I think how the crowd reacts to is going to be the most variant thing. I wonder if they're just wild and crazy no matter what, or I wonder if they get down on the team if they get off to a slow start.
Oh, you know they will. Boston and Philly, those are the two places they will turn against their own team very fast.
And
You know,
people want to downgrade championship experience because, and I understand why, because it feels like, on these like first take shows and stuff where they just say ridiculous stuff like I'd rather have Anthony Davis than Luca. Stephen A. Smith's comments this morning, but they talk about experience so much, and you're right, like on these talking head shows they do, but this is a Warriors team that lost at 3-1. I don't think they're celebrating yet, right? I mean,
yeah,
for how many years have they heard that you blew a 3-1 lead? So, I don't expect them to have that same overconfidence that the Celtics kind of suffer. When they're coming off a win, right? They just look so relaxed. This Golden State team looks locked in. So I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm just saying I would not be surprised if they got off to a good start. And I really want to see how the emotion is in the arena. I almost wonder if this is where home court might be a disadvantage.
yeah.
It's one thing if the opposing fans are down on you. When your own fans are down on you, that can be disheartening. So we'll talk
And
about this
Celtic,
more. We
can
have
you
tomorrow and
guys get
Thursday.
rid of these third jerseys? You're one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. I'm one of those people who really believe in stuff like that. Like, I think that what you wear matters. Just put on your greens and your whites. That's all you got to do. Every time they put on that black, they get smoked because it's not, like, just put on your traditional jersey, man. That's kind of like the Astros, who got a Space City uniform. Everybody in the fan base knows if they put on that uniform, they're gonna lose. I think they're like 0-4 this year wearing that stupid uniform. So I just stick to your greens and whites when you come out, Celtics. All right, guys. We'll thank you guys tuning in to the Wagering World. We're here Monday through Friday, every day on SCOON TV. Like we said, we'll be taking a small break with the Warriors wrap up everything this week. Friday will be the last show for about 30 days. But if not, we get a game 7, we got to get back with you guys on Monday and kind of break it down a little bit. Look forward to next season on the NBA and start talking a little NFL and give a goodbye to you guys until we see you guys again on August 1st. Please follow my guy Spread Astaire at Spread Astaire. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, Spread Astaire. Follow me at 5 Star in Vegas. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, 5 Star in Vegas Sports Investments. Best of luck to you all. Go Stros. We'll see you tomorrow.